Hey everybody, it's Sarzac. So I'm here with a story that I'm going to tell today. This is a story that I've told several times over the years. I've told it many times in my stream, and I thought I'd make a video of it, especially since I'm going to be doing a stream earlier or stream later today that relates directly to it. This is a story that I like to call the Yoshi Cookie Lady story. Okay, because it involves a lady who is wanting to get a copy of Yoshi's Cookie for the Nintendo, and when she thinks is not going to get her Yoshi's Cookie, she has a meltdown. So this is a fun story. This is something that has stuck with me for oh god, almost 25 years now. But let's go back in time real quickly to give you a little bit of context of what's going on. So it's late 1999, end of the 20th century. Y2K is about to occur, and I had recently quit my job at a local pizzeria. I'd worked at the pizzeria for about a year and a half. Got into a disagreement with the manager over something, and I decided to just kind of like, you know, yeah, rage quit. What's wrong with a little rage quitting? But I was unemployed for about a month or so, and I was trying to find a new job, especially with the holidays coming up. I had always worked in the food industry, and I did not want to work in the food industry anymore. So I was looking specifically for something retail. And I remember looking in the want ads in the newspaper. Yes, want ads in the newspaper. When was the last time you heard of someone getting a job through the want ads in the newspaper? Um, that a Funcoland was going to be coming to my hometown and opening up right before Christmas. Now, I knew what Funcoland was, but I don't expect anyone watching this video really to remember Funcoland unless you're, a little bit older, right? Like your 20-year-old somethings today are going to have no idea what a Funcoland is, probably. But Funcoland, which you can see one behind me, it's the Funcoland. I mean, it looks more like FU Land, which is appropriate. Was not a fun place to work. But Funcoland was a nationwide video game retailer in the 1990s. I forget exactly when they were founded. They might have been founded in the 80s, but they were really, really kind of a force in the 1990s. They were one of the big video game retailers at that time. Well, my hometown did not have, at the time, a specific store that focused only on video games. If you wanted video games, you'd have to go to like a toy store like a KB Toys or a Toys R Us or a big box store like Target or Walmart, something like that, right? You could get video games very easily in the town that I lived in, um, as long as they were like current new video games. But there was not like a store focusing on video games. This Funco Land was going to be the first store there doing that. And the thing about Funco Land is that they not only focused on like new video games, but they also focused on older video games, right? Like when I worked there, like the newest system that we supported was the Sega Dreamcast. We were taking pre-orders for the PlayStation 2, but the PlayStation 2 had not come out whenever I left Funco Land. Um, but you could also get games and systems for older consoles, right? Like the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, Game Boy. You could find that kind of stuff there at Funko Lane. Actually, Game Boy was still being supported when I worked there because the Pokemon games had just come out, and Pokemon was a very, very big deal, as it still is, right? But anyway, Funcoland was kind of a neat store. I had been to Funcolands before in other cities. I really enjoyed going there. I saw that a Funcoland was opening up nearby and that they were hiring people. And I thought to myself, what the hell? Let's go ahead and apply for this. I'm looking for retail anyway, and I have a passion and great knowledge about video games. So maybe I'll draw the lottery here and get a job. So I apply, and I hear back a few days later from the district manager. Now, the district manager is based out of a very, very large city, about 2 to 3 hours away from where I'm at. And he's in town to hire people and to get everything set up. He's bringing with him the guy who's going to run the store manager, but everybody else that's going to be at the store is going to be a local hire. Okay, and I'm the first person that he interviews, and we kind of hit it off immediately because we both have the same first name, which he thought was really cool. I didn't care really, but he thought it was cool. So, but we did hit it off, and we had a nice conversation. And he realized real quickly that I was pretty passionate and pretty knowledgeable about video games. But you know, if you've never worked retail, here's the kicker: they don't really care if you're passionate or knowledgeable about the particular thing that they focus on. They're more interested in your ability to sell things to people, right? Specifically, things that they want you to upsell that the customers are probably not there to buy. So we talked a little bit about me being able to be persuasive and to get people to buy stuff, and needless to say, having never been in a position like that before. He said I would need to work on those skills, but he felt confident that I was capable enough of being able to learn how to adapt and so forth. So eventually I was hired, right? And if you'd ever been to a Funcoland, you know that the cashiers, just as GameStop still does, or at least I think they do. I haven't been in a GameStop in years, but you know, whenever you go to checkout, they'll be like, oh, do you want to buy this cleaning kit, or oh, do you want to buy this subscription to Game Informer, right? They try to upsell you stuff, and those particular items that the company are pushing that they want their sales associate to convince the customers to buy, that is tied to your performance as a sales associate. So if you are selling a low amount of cleaning kits and Game Informer subscriptions, you will probably be warned, and if that continues, you will be fired. Okay, they are looking to get people in there that will sell these things because this is where their money comes from, right? This is where the big money for them comes from, because this is all stuff that they make themselves, right? Okay, so I get hired. I'm the first person of this at the store to be hired locally. We hire about 5 or 6 other people. Most of them are around my age, meaning that they're in their late teens to early 20s. And uh, we go through about a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks worth of training um, to get us ready for opening day, which is December 19th. Yeah, December 19th, you know, a few days before Christmas. Less than a week, really. So we open on December 19th, right? And if you've ever lived in a small city or large town, you're probably familiar with this kind of mentality. When a new store or restaurant opens, right, you will generally have like a large amount of the population just flock there for about the first week or two. And it's crazy. It's hard to get in if you're going there yourself. It's insane if you're working there. But we were absolutely swamped on our first day open on December 19th. Um, it was so bad that we had a line. We had 2 registers open, and the line to the registers were wrapped around the walls of the store, going outside of the store, and nearly wrapped around the entirety of the strip mall that the store was located in. It was crazy, and it was busy the entire day, right? It was absolutely just nuts. Well, we very quickly figure out a system that we're going to use in order to get customers in, get them what they want, and get them out, because we have a lot of people we have to service, right? So we have two cashiers. Not cashiers. We have 2 sales associates working the floor. These are the employees that are, there to help customers find. Not necessarily like you had two kind of customers. You had customers that came in there that were browsing. They just wanted to see what the store was, and they're not looking for something specifically, but they are looking to spend some money. And then you'd also have customers that came in with a very, very specific thing that they wanted, right? Well, the two employees that we had working the floor, they're the ones that are mainly dealing with the customers that are browsing. The customers that are in the line, they're the ones that know what they want, and then they're just waiting to get to the register to buy something, right? So there's four people working behind the counters. I'm one of those four. Two of them are on the registers. There's a guy. He's the store manager. He's working one register, and then there's a girl. She's working the other register. So of the four people behind the register, half of them are working. Um, I'm sorry, of the people behind the counter, half of them are working the register. The other two, one of which is me, we're not working with the registers. So what are we doing, right? Well, what I was doing, right, like the other guy, he had something, he was doing something different. But what I was doing is that I was the first person that the people in line would deal with, right? They would come up to me and I would ask them, what are they looking for? If they had not found specifically what they were looking for, they would tell me. So, like, for example, if you were looking for Chrono Trigger on the Super Nintendo, you would say, hey, I'm looking for Chrono Trigger on Super Nintendo. That's what you would tell me. I would then go to where we kept the games. All the games were kept behind the counter, okay? I would then go to where we kept the Super Nintendo games, which was in a locked drawer. I would open it up, and I would see if we had a used copy of Chrono Trigger. If we did, I would pull it and tell you, yes, we do. And I would send it down to the register. And then, you just have to wait until you get to the register so you can pay for it and leave. If there was if we did not have the thing you were looking for, I would probably make a suggestion. Hey, we don't have Chrono Trigger, but we do have Final Fantasy 3. Would that be okay, right? And, then the customer would respond however, right? If they didn't know what it would be, I would explain to it what it is. But in a lot of cases with video game stuff, a lot of people, if you go in there specifically looking for Chrono Trigger, right? You know what Chrono Trigger is. You know what Final Fantasy 3 is, right? Um, so I don't know. It was interesting. But anyway, I'm sort of the first line of defense. The guy in between me and the cashiers, he has a really simple job. I give him the game that I have pulled for a particular customer, and I say, hey, this copy of Chrono Trigger is for this guy, right? I give him the game, and then it becomes his job to make sure that that game reaches the cashiers, okay? Not hard, right? Shouldn't be too hard. Well, we're helping customers, and this is around 6 or 7 o'clock at night. Because we stayed open until I think like 9 or 10 o'clock that night. It was really crazy. Um, one of the customers, and I don't remember many of the customers specifically from that day, but I do remember this woman, like, picture perfect. Um, this woman, she comes up in line, and she's an old grandmotherly type lady, right? She looks to be in her 60s, maybe early 70s. She's about maybe 5'1", 5'2", probably weighs anywhere between 90 to 100 pounds, looks very meek, has a very passive, very quiet demeanor. She's wearing glasses. She has gray shoulder-length hair. And yeah, she's wearing like old grandma clothes. So anyway, she comes up, and I ask her what she's looking for, and she goes, "I'm looking for Yoshi's cookie." Now I'm going to use a voice for her because she spoke in a very, very memorable way. And it's very important to the story that I kind of like replicate her voice because it kind of leads to a very unnerving aspect of the story in just a bit. But she says that she's looking for Yoshi's Cookie. Now, Yoshi's Cookie is a puzzle game that is. I don't know much about it. I haven't played it yet. I will play it later today. But Yoshi's Cookie is a puzzle game that features Nintendo characters. Okay, and it was released on 3 platforms: the Super Nintendo, the NES, and the Game Boy. So I asked her specifically which version she's looking for, and she says the Nintendo. So I go to where we keep the NES games, I open it up, and we have a single copy of Yoshi's Cookie. So I pull it, I bring it to her, and I say, yes, ma'am, we do have a copy of Yoshi's Cookie. Is there anything else you're looking for? And she says no. She just kind of shakes her head. I don't remember her even saying no. So I tell her, okay, I'm gonna give this to this guy. He's gonna pass it down. Just stay in line. When you get to the register, the cashiers will have it, and then they'll check you out. She doesn't really respond. She just kind of stays in line. Okay. I go to help the next customer. Right. Well, about 5-10 minutes go by. I'm helping other customers. I've kind of forgotten about her already at this point. But then I'm startled, as is like everybody practically in the store is startled whenever we hear this old lady screaming at the register, "Where is Yoshi's cookie? I want Yoshi's cookie! Where is my Yoshi's cookie?" This woman is freaking out and has becoming hysterical over Yoshi's cookie. In every sentence that's coming out of her mouth, she's saying the name of the game. But she's doing it in like this meek grandmotherly voice, but like you can tell like there's a certain like insanity or anger behind her words. I'm not joking when I say that this store, which had probably about 50 people in it or so, is almost drop dead quiet. Um, Now, you might be thinking right now, okay, well, she's freaking out. Why is she freaking out? Well, in the journey that Yoshi's cookie was supposed to make from me pulling it out of the drawer to it getting to the cashiers, Yoshi's cookie had disappeared. So when she got down there, she told them she was the Yoshi cookie lady, and the cashiers are looking for Yoshi's cookie and they can't find it. So she starts to have this meltdown where she's yelling about Yoshi's cookie! Where is my Yoshi's cookie? So we're all freaked out. Some of the customers are even freaked out. This lady is going full on like hysterics, right? This is like Elder Karen. Um, so we start looking around the counter for Yoshi's cookie, right? And we looked for about 2 or 3 minutes, right? It felt like 2 or 3 hours, but we're just looking for about 2 or 3 minutes. All the time, she is just yelling at us about Yoshi's cookie. Where's my Yoshi's cookie? Um, we eventually find it. Some idiot, I think the guy that was next to me, we never figured out whose fault this was, but I think it was the guy that I gave Yoshi's cookie to. Some idiot had accidentally put a clipboard on top of Yoshi's cookie, which is why no one could find it, because it was covered up. Yeah, that's what happened. As soon as we find Yoshi's cookie, this woman's demeanor reverts to that of like the meek, quiet grandmother. She is no longer yelling. She is no longer hysterical. She doesn't say a thing at this point. She's checked out, she pays for it, and she leaves with her Yoshi's cookie, never to be seen again. This happened almost 25 years ago as of this recording, and this story is burned into my memory because it was freaky. It was incredibly freaky and weird. Um, we worked the rest of the night. It's pretty busy, so we don't have a lot of time to chit-chat with each other. But when we eventually close, I remember one of my coworkers came up to me and was just like, "Man, what was going on with that Yoshi's cookie lady? That was crazy." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, that weirded me out. There was something off about her. She really wanted Yoshi's cookie like it was some sort of like ancient relic or something. I don't know what the hell was going on there." Um, but that is my Yoshi's cookie lady story. Okay. Um, I have several more stories that I can tell about my time at Funcoland. Um, Maybe I'll do future videos about them. I don't know. If you enjoyed the story, consider dropping a like, subscription, and let me know if you'd be interested in hearing more stories in the comments. But that is my Yoshi's Cookie Lady story. Yeah, even to this day, like those exact moments are like picture perfect to me. Most of the rest of that day is kind of a haze at this point, except for the Yoshi Cookie Lady. So anyway, that's going to be the story, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. If you're not following me on Twitch, I mainly stream on Twitch. YouTube is kind of a side thing for me. But you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv /Sarzac. The link will be in the description. Please check me out on Twitch if you haven't. Um, yeah, that is my story about the old lady and Yoshi's cookie. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.